Hey everybody, this is Andy Bennett from the CSS News Civil War Interpreter Center. I'm here at Governor Charles B. Aycock birthplace outside doing some cooking. This is video one in a series of the cultural influences on Southern cuisine. In this first video, I'm going to talk about the contribution of Native Americans or American Indian culture on our cuisine. People forget that before Europeans came to the New World, European, African, and Asian diets were missing out on tomatoes, corn, peppers, peanuts, potatoes, beans, and the list goes on. A lot of things we enjoy today on our table or come from North America, Central America, or South America. They add so much to the cuisines across the world. One of those foundational recipes, especially in Eastern America and in North Carolina, no matter what different language group or cultural group those natives or American Indians belong to, there was the key of the three sisters. The three sisters is the idea of planting the corn to let the beans run up. The beans fix the nitrogen and helps the corn grow. And at the bottom, squash is planted to shade out the weeds. This harmonial and nurturing relationship in the agriculture of the native peoples of America. Those three things, the squash, the beans, and the corn, make up the key ingredients in something called succotash or succotash. People debate back and forth what these words actually mean, and it's across different Native American languages, but it probably refers to the idea of there being a clay cooking vessel by a fire in the village where the corn, that squash, that beans is cooking away. And to that, they're bringing in whatever they hunt or gather, whether it's shellfish or fish, game meat, berries, nuts. It's not that classic, simple lima beans, tomatoes, and corn you get out of a can or you've had that recipe. It's a rich stew of flavors. In this stew, there is a close connection to something as North Carolinians we enjoy, especially in eastern North Carolina. Think about it. You've got your corn, you got your tomatoes, you've got your beans in there. You've got the meat in there. Let's say we're gonna put some chicken in there or some kind of game meat in there, maybe some squirrel, and maybe let's start adding some potatoes and some things. Soon enough, we've got Brunswick stew. I feel like my personal opinion is that the origins and heart of Brunswick stew is from our Native American people of eastern North Carolina. People can argue about it, but that's my 2 cents on that. This Brunswick stew comes from, or has roots in our Native American culture. But if you'll make succotash or succotash at home, we're going to follow Gookin, a traveling minister from New England. He also lived in Virginia. He described it that their stew is having bear meat in it. So to make this at home, you're going to need your beans, lima beans or northern beans. You can go in and use canned ones and save some time. You're going to add into them some cut up yellow squash or any kind of squash you want, or if you in the wintertime you use pumpkin or winter squash. They have like a winter flavor. You want to add in your tomatoes if you're going to add tomatoes into it and get that going. And we're also want to add in there, if you don't have bear meat, you can add any meat you want to into this, but some good slab bacon or side meat goes good in this, or just some regular bacon's good too. And you're going to take this green corn, not dry corn, green corn, and cut that off the cob, say when you're going to make cream corn, and add that about 10 minutes before it's ready. And you want to just season it with some salt. You don't want to overly season this dish because it's simple and fresh. You want to enjoy that freshness of the tomato and the corn. Another contribution Native Americans make directly to our southern table goes back to corn. Think about cornbread. The simple ash cakes formed out of ground up grain, corn, and add a little water and cooked in the ash of the fires. Native Americans across the entire North, Central, and South America, it was a staple of what they ate. So our cornbread has a direct link to the native peoples of America. Hopefully you've learned something from this series. Hopefully you're going to join us for other videos. As always, check out our videos on CSS News Civil War Interpreter Center's Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.